Welcome to the Franchise Woman podcast, where passion and purpose collide, profits are made, and relationships forged. I'm Rebecca Monet, CEO and Chief Scientist at Zorco Profiles. I'm here with my co host, community advocate, speaker, author, and entrepreneur, Tracy Kawa. Tracy, we've already had like a whole interview with our guest today, so I'm really excited to share with everybody else. Tatum Crews is the Vice President of Sales at the Spice and Tea Exchange, a woman-founded and woman-led brand. Tatum is an accomplished franchise sales and development leader with more than 15 years of experience scaling both national and emerging brands. In her role at the Spice and Tea Exchange, she leads the company's expansion strategy, guiding entrepreneurs through the franchise discovery process, qualification, site selection, and preparing them for a successful transition into opening and of course, their long-term operations. She's very passionate about empowering business owners and believes that authentic relationships and transparent leadership form the strongest foundation for lasting success. Tatum, we've had you on the show before. We're so glad you're back. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Rebecca and Tracy. I'm glad to be here today.
Yeah, welcome back. This is exciting. It's like an episode of Where Are They Now, right?
Yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah. So I'm very excited to ask you, you've been in the service business, part of franchise, you've been in the retail business, you've seen a lot, you've done a lot. How do you think the two are different from a franchise perspective?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, Tracy. I would say I feel like retail has built-in advantages that maybe the service industry doesn't. People tend to, love buying things that they can experience. Whereas, when you go into a retail store, a product doesn't really require a true explanation, especially when it's an immersive experience and someone is able to walk in and touch it and see it and taste it and smell it. It really sells itself. Whereas the service industry side of things, it does take a lot more legwork on the front end. Your team is having to really showcase your offering and make sure that you're setting your client or your guest in that case scenario up for success. Although it can tend to be reoccurring revenue once they are bought in, the sales cycle is a tad bit longer.
Mm.
That's such a good point. Um, and also the service type of business, there's a lot of outbound kind of sales where you're having to market and build that situation where with retail, they're coming to you in many ways. So pros and cons to both, exciting pieces for each. I got to tell you, I do think it's a different franchisee that is fabulous at the service side of franchising versus the retail side. Um, but you know what's interesting, you and we were talking about this a little bit before. Um, you guys aren't just retail, right? You guys are, let's call it an experience. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. We are truly an immersive experience. As I mentioned, it's kind of like walking into a clothing boutique. You can see the clothes, you can try the clothes on, but maybe based on your budget that day, like unless it fits perfectly, you may not walk out of the door with it on, or you may not walk out of the door with it in your bag per se. But in this immersive retail experience, when you walk in the Spice and Tea Exchange, you are immediately greeted. We have what we call trap jars, and those are opened for you to smell the product at hand, whether that is a tea or a custom blend offering that we have.
Mhm.
And so it just takes things to a different level, especially with the implementation of our new tea bar. You can walk in and you can purchase any tea that is on our shelf. You can purchase it hot, you could purchase it cold. Therefore, while you're having your shopping experience, you're indulging in an incredible drink and you're trying the product firsthand. So it really, I would say that's really where the Spice and Tea Exchange differentiates itself in the retail space.
Wow. So how does holiday time affect that experience or the sales or I mean I can imagine your products flying off the shelves right now.
Yes, the holiday time is our busiest season, as I'm sure you can imagine. Not only with Small Business Saturday and Black Friday and all of those fun things, but we also have an incredible accessory collection and gifting collection. So this is honestly Q4 is the busiest time of year for all of our stores in the retail space. Everybody is coming in, whether they're buying product for themselves, they're buying gifts for other individuals. Especially as people are hosting and cooking, they're going to need more product in their house to make sure that, all of their food is up to par and taste incredible with all of our, wonderful blends and spice offerings that we have. So this is a really, really fun time of year for all of our franchise owners, although they are very, very busy this time of year.
So it's so interesting. I have a couple of, Tracy, you're a tea lover, if I remember
I
correctly.
too. I
Yeah.
love those warm fruity flavors. I was actually going to ask Tatum what your favorite flavor is.
Oh, my favorite flavor tea is probably the raspberry shortbread.
Ooh.
It is, I believe it's a green tea, but it is or maybe a white tea, excuse me, but it is absolutely incredible. You can drink it hot, you can drink it iced. It just really depends on preference.
Yum. Ice.
So, um, are there some trends in tea? It seems like the appetite for tea has dramatically increased over the last few years. I don't know if it's because coffee, the shine on coffee has gone away, but do you see some trends that are happening now? Is there more availability to certain types of teas that maybe we didn't have before?
Yeah, I do think there is a trend. Honestly, there are tons of natural benefits with tea. Whether you are trying to detox or you're looking for more healthy elements that maybe you wouldn't gain from a coffee, it is definitely becoming a lot more popular. Not to mention, there is an incredible variety of different teas that you can have, whether that is a green, white, a black, an oolong. And then amongst all of those, obviously, you can get your herbals and your fruity teas, or you could have a tea that has a bit more bite. Again, it can be iced, it can be warm based on individual preference. It can be stronger, it could be sweeter. So there's just such an incredible variety in it. I think that, it is becoming more popular because there are so many opportunities and options for people to choose from.
Yeah,
Nice.
for
Wow.
sure.
Those-
Let's talk about the culture. I mentioned early in our introduction that this is a woman-founded, woman-led brand. And every time I look up pictures or videos or whatever, we see all these powerful women, including yourself. Tell me more about the culture that you guys have created.
The culture is absolutely incredible. I can't take the credit for it. So hats off to our two co-founders, our CEO and current president. I think that culture really starts from top down. And I can tell you firsthand that these two women definitely lead from the top. You can feel it. Our franchise owners can feel it. They truly take care of their people. And that goes from franchise owners to all the way down to the standard employees. We have over, I think, right at actually 100 employees at the Spice and Tea Exchange. And Amy and Penny are two incredible individuals. And it is extremely refreshing to work for them and to continue to help grow this brand and bring in other incredible franchise owners to have this cultural experience firsthand because you don't always find it like this. And it's a really, really great place to work.
You know, Tatum, what I find really fascinating about this is when we had you on the show last, you gave some really amazing advice. You were saying, you were telling our female audience to become the mother and the role model that they would have wished they had in their lives for every young girl. And it sounds to me like this is so linear. This is the next level for you where you found this incredible company and this incredible brand run by these two powerhouse women. It sounds like it's really kind of like the next level for you personally as well. Do you feel that?
I definitely do feel that. It has been a great experience. I come from a different industry that is a bit more male dominated, and there's no right or wrong way to lead or to be involved, if you will. But working alongside of them and other individuals in the company, whether they are male or female, indifferent, it's just been a great experience for me personally, as I've taken a leap from health and wellness into retail. It's truly been a growing experience. I've been learning a lot. I've been self-educating, and I'm getting to learn from two really, really great women who have a ton of resource and information to provide to help me to continue to grow personally and professionally.
Fabulous.
I'm so glad you brought up that. I was Tracy, because as you pointed out, this is like the next level for Tatum. And when you talked about, taking care of your people and they'll take care of you and all of those things, you're living, breathing it in this environment, as is Amy and Penny, right? And the entire team. So I just think it's so beautiful that you continue to evolve, you continue to learn, you continue to grow and look for those opportunities to contribute. So I'm excited for you, and I'm excited for the Spice and Tea exchange. So, when you are working with prospective franchisee and you're guiding them through the process, what's some of the signals you get from them or mindset that you get from them that lets you know this is going to be someone that will fit in this kind of culture?
I would say first and foremost the passion. Majority of the prospective franchise candidates who come into our system already eat, sleep, and breathe the product. They have already been into our stores. They use the product regularly, whether that be a avid tea drinker or somebody who loves to grill, right? So we really have, having over 650 products in our system, we have something that is made for everyone. And so as we have these prospective franchisees come into our system, majority of them are just so incredibly passionate about the brand that it makes it so easy to, I
Yeah.
guess, have that initial relationship with them, versus maybe selling, or moving in a service industry franchise, if you will. It's not always the same experience. You don't always have the same individuals coming into it. They may have taken a workout class before, but it's not the same as actually immersing yourself in the product on a day in and day out. So I would say passion overall is one of the biggest assets that come from some of our prospective franchisees.
That's interesting.
Interesting.
You already have like raving fans who are
Yeah.
coming in, they already love the product. So how, I feel like this is a little bit of a weird question, but like how or does the company or how does the company work with influencers?
So we do have some influencers. Some of our franchise owners have local ones that they utilize, and then from a corporate standpoint, we do as well. And they may share our product online, just like anyone else. They may be involved in some of our videography or photo shoots that we use for marketing. So it really just, we use them in all aspects. But the beauty of it is our franchise owners have the ability to find those local influencers in their area that can really help push the brand from a brand awareness standpoint. And then we also at a corporate level do the same to support our franchisees at a high level.
That's so cool. That's just really cool.
For sure, for sure. One of the things we talked about in the intro was your emphasis on authentic relationships and transparent leadership. How does that philosophy play out in your work with franchisees from a big picture perspective?
Yeah, so I would say, kind of going back to the culture piece of things, one of the reasons that this company has such incredible culture is we really do a great job of listening to our franchise owners. And so we have a group of individuals who are split up amongst the region who are part of our FAC committee. And those franchise owners work directly with the additional franchise owners within their region to really feed that information from bottom up. On that FAC committee, we also have 3 corporate employees who are heavily involved. And so just taking feedback and making sure that instead of it going in one ear and out the other, that we're implementing it and we're reviewing it and we're figuring out, hey, we might need to pivot because, our franchise owners are the ones who are boots on the ground and they're telling us this isn't working. Instead of shutting that down, their voice is heard and a positive change is made in the company, which I think overall, again, enhances the cultural aspect that has been created.
That's so smart. How many units does the company have right now?
We are right at 100. So yes, 98 to be exact, but moving right along. So 2026 will be an incredible year for us from a growth standpoint.
Yeah. And as the company grows, do you feel like they'll always be able to listen to the boots on the ground?
I do. I think it all goes back to the structure of how we set up this communication, whether that's internal or external. And it also goes back to the type of individuals that we have on the leadership team. They know the importance of listening, whether we have 400 franchise owners or if we have 100. Everybody's voice deserves to be listened to. And I don't think that that will ever fall short at the Spice and Tea Exchange. I think we understand that it's imperative we hear and we make change as needed.
Wow, I agree. I agree with people like yourself there. I think it's definitely going to continue those connections and listening and being part of something and collaboration is so important to you guys. Um, my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, that the Spice and Tea Exchange has are very picky about locations. So we keep that sense of community. Can you address that? What are you looking for when you're looking for a location?
Yeah, great question, Rebecca. So in most franchise businesses, they're not hesitant to drop a business anywhere, a store anywhere. It could be in a strip mall. It could be a silo building that's in the middle of nowhere in the service industry. Another differentiator for us in this, specialty retail space is foot traffic is very, very important. And so we have 2 different aspects that you could lean. Obviously, more of your festival or tourist areas, as people will call them, where there's tons of high foot traffic for people vacationing, are what we would call like this is an A plus location. Obviously, in that area, you want to be on the main street, on the 50-yard line, and make sure you're really in that sweet spot. However, we still have stores that do incredibly well in what we would call more of our neighborhood communities. And that's where the overall revenue is from people who are local in the community who just are truly passionate about the product. And they're in our stores day in and day out, buying spices and blends and teas and accessories just to keep within their household. So we can go both avenues, but we are very, very particular. We obviously look at demographics, we look at foot traffic, weekday foot traffic, and weekend, because we want to ensure that we're setting our franchisees up for success. And location is very, very important when it comes to that.
Location, location, location.
Yeah.
So I I would like for our listener audience to go back and listen to the first interview that we did with you, because there were so many golden nuggets in that interview as well. And I want to ask you about another thing that I thought was so incredibly perceptive that you had told us at that time when you said work for the job you want, not the job you have. And I wonder, is that still a philosophy of yours? And what exactly does it mean?
Yes, it's absolutely. It will. I think it will always be a philosophy of mine. Nothing is ever perfect. That could be a flaw, I suppose, at the same time. But I'm always looking for that next challenge in self growth. And I would say here, the position that I'm in, I still don't feel like, this is the end of the road for me. I'm constantly learning, immersing myself in other aspects of the business to continue to really wrap my head around the retail world, since it is fairly new to me. But then continuing to move up in whatever path that looks like, and continuing to grow and learn as much as I can, just to be better, whether that's in a personal or a professional manner. So it's been very, very refreshing to be part of this team and experience the culture firsthand, because I feel like I'm still, working for the job that I eventually want. I'm still learning something new, which is very, very exciting.
You used the word, was it self-educate?
Hmm.
Is that what I
Yes.
love that term. I'm not sure I've really considered that, but it's a deliberate effort on your part. Almost like you have this mental mindset, let's call it, that says, what can I learn today? What can I learn today so I can go to the next step or help more people? It literally is like a mindset for you, right?
It definitely is. And I think different people probably approach the self-education from a different manner or have a different perspective on it. For me, again, it's just about learning as much as I can, whether that's reading a leadership book or listening in on a cross-departmental meeting that maybe my current role or position isn't necessarily affected by. But again, just making sure I have a full understanding and taking in all of the different nuggets. So that way, at the end of the day, I'm an expert in whatever field I end up being in. And I just think making sure that I'm continuing to step outside of that box and look for additional opportunity in other aspects of life versus just what I'm currently focused on is a way that I personally continue to grow. Um, and I'll just kind of tell you guys quickly, even with AI right now is
Hmm.
huge, and there's so many different aspects of it and people utilize it in a multitude of capacities. And so one of the initiatives for my team in Q4 was to actually complete an AI course through a local university. And so that is something I'm taking on myself. I have asked my team to do it as well. And so instead of like a book club, we're doing almost like a back to school club, which is super fun. We meet and kind of talk about it from time to time. So just taking initiative, I suppose, and making sure that I'm always trying to continue to be better.
I love that. You're also inspiring others around you to be continual learners, which is
Hmm.
fabulous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Something popped up in my head, ladies, and I'm just trying to think back to when I was your age and my insatiable need to see the future and to learn. And one of the things that I experienced because I was so out, out whatever 5 years from now and planning for it and learning for it, I sometimes had trouble being present, being in the moment. Is that something you ever experience, or do you have to remind yourself, okay, be present? Because a lot of things that we learn almost vicariously through observation. What are your thoughts on that, Tatum?
I agree. I it is something I'm very self-aware of. I would say making sure that I am being present. And I know in our past conversation, I had shared some, personal things that, I had went through, which has really helped craft the person that I am today, right? From the experiences that I went through as a child and growing up. And so, going back to kind of that sector of my life and knowing as much as I work and as much as I put time and energy and effort into ensuring that my career is very high up on my list, being present for my daughter and my family when I am home is definitely a priority of mine. And I would be lying if I said it isn't a struggle at times because it 100% is, especially when you work from home and you're in the middle of dinner and your Teams notification goes off or somebody sends an email that's marked as urgent. The type of person I am, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to pause everything and put it down, I have to take care of this right now. Someone's waiting on me. And so really just taking a step back in that moment and saying, does this really have to be done right now because my daughter and my husband are waiting on me? And just making sure that I'm present in every aspect. So I guess that's really more tailored to being present in my personal life, but also being present in meetings and making sure when you are on a group team call that you're focused on the individual speaking, that you're actually hearing what they are saying versus working on a project. And so I think that a lot of people have the tendency to not necessarily focus on the matter at hand. So just really, again, being back to being self-aware is just noting like I'm on this call for a reason. This person is looking for insight, or vice versa. I could gain something from them. Again, going back to that self-education moment. And so just ensuring that whatever I'm doing in that moment is my focus for that moment and making sure that my time is slated accordingly so I can still take care of every other line item that I may need to accomplish that day.
That is such a good reminder,
It really is. It
right?
really is. I've been there, Tatum, as a single mom, building businesses in the past, and I was so out in the future, I missed probably years of my life. Very little memories of the personal part of my life. So I thank you for bringing that up. My best friend noticed this, um, and she encouraged me when I was in the car to not be doing planning in my head and to be thinking about the next obstacle I got to overcome or the next thing I need to build, but to focus on my surroundings. I gotta tell you, it changed my life. I all of a sudden noticed buildings and houses and trees and even paint on the highway that I had never noticed before because I was so living in the future. So thank you for that reminder. I hope our folks are listening because it's so important, especially when you're this career minded and learning minded, that we can be so far in the future that we miss those relationships with our daughters and our husbands and the beauty, in the world. So thank you for that reminder. Tracy, I'm sorry, you were going to ask a question and I got caught up in the moment.
No, no, no. I love the conversation and I love the reminders about being present. So, no, just where can our listener audience reach you, Tatum?
Yeah, of course. I'm pretty active, I would like to say, on LinkedIn. Obviously, if anybody is interested in exploring ownership of the Spice and Tea Exchange, they can visit our website, spiceandtea.com, or please email me personally, whether that's questions, comments, advice, anything like that. I am always open to it. And my email is t.crews@spiceandtea.com. So yeah, I would love to hear from anybody who's listening.
Beautiful.
Advice,
So,
dear Dr. Tatum.
yeah, yeah. Tatum, thank you so much for joining us today. We could continue this conversation for hours, but all three of us has something at the top of the hour, so we're going to have to cut it shorter than we would like. Thank you for the reminders. Thank you for the consistency over the last couple of years. You are exactly who you spoke about a couple of years ago. And it was so beautiful to see you growing and learning and contributing and staying true to your own integrity of who you are and what you're wired to do. So thank you for updating us on what your life and your career has become. And I'm really excited to see about the future of the Spice and Tea Exchange. And of course, we're going to be watching you as you continue to grow and evolve. So thank you for joining us today.
Oh, well, thank you both so much. It's been a pleasure to catch up again, and I look forward to listening to additional episodes that you guys put out.
Ooh. Tracy, I'm going to put it to you for our final words.
Yeah, well, you wrapped it up so beautifully, Rebecca. Thank you for that. Yeah, the consistency is incredible. Tatum, for you, I see that, the last time we spoke with you, you were talking about, working for the job you want and being the mentor that you wish you would have had. And I feel like as you grow, your platform grows and you're reaching more and more people, like you're really in your purpose. This is what you were designed to do. All of the experiences in your life have led you this way, and you're utilizing it so well. Whether it's consciously or subconsciously, like your platform just keeps growing, you're reaching more people. So thank you for that. And again, Rebecca, you're right. The word consistency, it just nails it. So you're
Yeah,
doing the work, you're doing, what you're designed to do. I love it.
yeah. Being fully present
Yeah.
and yet planning for the future. It's amazing. So thank you again, Tatum, and thank you to our listeners. Make sure to subscribe, make sure to like, comment, and most importantly, share Tatum Crews's um, interview today. And we'll see you next week on another episode of the Franchise Woman podcast, where passion and purpose collide, profits are made, and relationships forged.